Hey Internet, and welcome! With well over 700 Pokemon to pick from, choosing just 10 for a favorites list was pretty challenging. But after many days of thinking, I've finally come down to just 10. Now keep in mind this is not a top 10 best Pokemon, not a top 10 strongest Pokemon, just a top 10 favorites for my own personal reasons. I'm sure you guys have your favorites as well, so feel free to join in and post your favorites down in the comments. But with all that said, let's get started! Cavaliere. I think that's how you say it. So I'm a sucker for bug-type Pokemon, and beyond just bug-typing, I always thought the bug-steel combination was pretty cool. Yes, it does have a 4-time weakness to fire, which does suck, I will admit, but overall I think it's a pretty fun type. The bug-steel typing is not exactly unique to Cavaliere though. There were Pokemon from previous generations that had it, and Generation 5, the one that has it, has 2 other bug-steel types, including a legendary. So for the most part, it does get outshadowed by some other Pokemon. However, it just looks really cool. Pancham! So the Kung Fu Panda thing is nothing new. You have Warcraft, you have an entire movie called Kung Fu Panda, and a sequel. But even though it's overdone, I still love it. It's so cute! In fact, I love Pancham so much that I farmed 900 eggs in an attempt to get a shiny for him. It didn't work out at all, haha! Instead, I went and did Pokeradar chaining and found one. Yes!
Oh my god! Oh, I've been looking for this for so long. Oh, yes!
My life, it's complete. I can die happy now. Scykoh! I remember over a decade ago, my friends and I were not very fluent with the internet. We were not up to date with what games were coming out, and the only way we would know if a game was coming out is if we went to the game store and we actually saw it there. But I remember there were rumors floating around about a new Pokemon game, and one day I was at a friend's birthday party, and someone had Pokemon Ruby there. It blew my mind. Not only that, but he let me play it, and he let me start a new file. And you can guess who I picked. I don't have a whole lot else to say other than he's my favorite starter of all time. I love him. Banette, an awesome Pokemon and my favorite ghost type of all time. I was always very disappointed that when Gen 4 rolled around, Dusclops got an evolution and Banette did not. It never made sense to me, but thankfully when Generation 6 rolled around, they introduced Mega Banette, and it is awesome. There was a lot of fan art for what Banette could have evolved into, and some of it's actually, in my opinion, cooler than the actual Mega. But hey, the Mega is still cool and I'm glad it exists, even if it does have giant purple banana fingers. Vivillon. This is of course the generic bug type for Generation 6, which usually I'm not a huge fan of even though I do love bug Pokemon, but Vivillon I just love the design, and once I heard about the mechanic where there's a different pattern depending on where you live, I just knew I had to catch them all. And I did, all 18 of them. It was a great experience collecting these. It made me want to whip out my Scooby-Doo butterfly net and go catch butterflies in real life. Well, that would involve going outside, so not really, but I'll go catch some in Animal Crossing. Anyways, I actually used Vivillon on my Pokemon X playthrough. I expected it to be pretty terrible, but it was actually pretty useful and became my go-to Pokemon whenever I ended up in a Team Flare area. It kinda became useless by the end of the game, but for the first 2/3 it was really good. Mawile. Mawile is just one of those Pokemon that is so cute and cool at the same time, but unfortunately they were not very good. Before Generation 6 came out, a lot of people asked me if you could have one thing in Generation 6, what would it be? And I said many times, I want a Mawile evolution. And as I'm sure you guys know, there is Mega Mawile. It's not exactly a standard evolution, but I'll take it. They also gave Mawile the fairy typing, which is pretty cool. The only downside is Mawile is not the only steel fairy type, so that's kind of a missed opportunity for uniqueness. But Mawile is still my favorite steel fairy type. Aw yeah! Cubchew. If you know me, then I'm sure that the inclusion of Cubchew on this list is not going to surprise you at all. I am a huge sucker for the cute bear Pokemon, and out of the trio, Cubchew is my favorite. I love this little guy, he's so adorable. Not only is he cute, but he's also an ice type, which is my second favorite type. If only I could find a magic lamp with a genie inside so I could make 3 wishes. My 3 wishes will be a swimming pool full of Cubchew plushes, an actual Cubchew, and a donut. Yanma. This is one of those Pokemon that's very difficult to explain why I like it so much. I just do. Maybe you can relate. Maybe there's a Pokemon that you love that is just hard to explain to other people why you like it. All I can say is that a long time ago, my friend had this Pokemon card. I saw it and instantly fell in love. I traded with him to get that card the very same day, and I eventually built up a collection of 4 of these cards. It's not even a good card, I just really like it. I have no idea what it is about you, Yanma, but I love you. Zapdos. Zapdos is just awesome. He's pretty much the Pokemon embodiment of Thor. He's a total bamf, and going back to the Pokemon TCG, he has an awesome card as well, which I really happen to love. Though unfortunately, I don't actually own this card. It was so cool to see Zapdos in the second Pokemon movie. I always loved him from the first time I played Pokemon Blue and caught him. It was a really tough battle between Zapdos and the Pokemon in first to decide who would be first and second on this list. But I figured Zapdos, might as well put him second, right? Jeez. And finally, my #1 favorite Pokemon of all time is Poliwrath. This is a great example of nostalgia and personal bias coming right into the list. My very first time ever playing a Pokemon game was on Pokemon Blue way back in 1998. I caught a Poliwag, raised it to a Poliwrath, and owned everything. I'll never forget that playthrough, and I'll never lose my love for Poliwrath. Thanks for watching. Wow, you made it all the way to the end. Well, if you enjoyed this, why don't you hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos in the future. And you should definitely also follow me on Twitter and check out my live stream. Yeah, and you can click these cruds on the screen if you want to watch some other Pokemon top 10s. Link in the description for you guys on mobile devices. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you guys next time.